And as always, in every episode we do give away £10 Sorare Credit, so congratulations to the winner of the last episode, who is Smalley. Congratulations. If you guys would like to enter today's episode, all you gotta do is leave a like on the video and comment your Sorare username. And if you guys are interested in signing up to Sorare, there is a referral link down below. Once winning 5 cards on the bidding market, you will win yourself a free limited card, but please do be responsible because of course you can lose money as well as make money. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is basically just talking about investing in players who are playing against teams who are bottom of their league. So for example, in the Prem, we're looking at Southampton, Leeds, West Ham, Bournemouth and Everton. In today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you guys about investing in players who are playing against some of the worst teams in their league. I'll show you guys a few examples of teams that played teams who are bottom of their league and how well these players just rose going into the deadline hype. So I'm going to start off here with Leeds. Leeds were playing against Everton, who were just playing pretty rubbish. I think they won one game against Arsenal, but then went on to another loss, which put them, I think, right at the bottom, if not second or third at the bottom. Which is interesting, because Leeds obviously, I think, were just above them, but now obviously the positions have switched. But nonetheless, before the game, Everton were favourite to get slapped. Which as a result left cards like Ayling, who went from £7 all the way up here to, £11.30, which is a really, really good rise. It's about 30-40% in about 3 days. We look at Tyler Adams, a little bit more expensive of an example, but he went from £17 and he finished up there at £22. We look at someone like Maxime Wobber, someone who's a little bit easier to buy, and he started off at around about £11 and ended up there at £13, and even had some of the new season cards selling on there for £17.50. And then we go into the Serie A. Now we had Torino who played Cremosa, who are the bottom of the league in the Serie A. I think they've got like literally 8 points a season. And he went from £19 and ended the week there at £25. Look at some other cards and, they're about 15 quid, and we're looking at the 17th here, and they end up there near to 18. And then we've even got some really cheap players who are like £4.50 and their sales £5.50, £5.20. These cards are nothing overly crazy, it's 45 L5, 38 L15, nothing too crazy. But they just all did really well because they played against bottom of the season. And then we've got Union Berlin who played against Schalke, and all you got to do is look how they went going into the 17th. We got about £3, ended up there about £4.20. Again, did he have any crazy scores? No, these scores are absolutely awful. It's just they're playing bottom. Robin Notch was having some really, really good scores. He went up here from 16 quid, and in the hype went up to 20. Maybe even had sales with the new season cards at 22, which was insane. And then we've even got someone like Trimmer, again, a really, really cheap player. The panic buying on him in the last 24 hours of the deadline was crazy. And he went up here to £3. So all you've got to do is just look at players from the bottom 5, or ideally as low as possible. And you just want to go and kind of match that up with the current investing criteria. So what I'm going to be doing in today's video is I'm going to be using the investing criteria I've learned over the last 2 weeks with all my research of, about 40 players each week. I'm going to go and pair this up with buying players from the bottom 5, and I'll go and show you guys the results. Player Matteo Marek. I think we might have looked at him last week. His pre-hype wasn't too amazing last week though, but he is now running a full L5, which is really nice. Nice following the thing we're talking about in today's episode. Playing bottom of the league, loss. He's on an L5 of 62. I do believe this could be some nice combo. Eric Cabello now. Again, you can see right there these insane scores. But he's got himself a 73, which is now replacing the 48, which is now giving him an L5 of 75, which is just disgusting. And L15 is 58. So relatively high. So again, it'd have to be another one that'd be used for the 240 to 270 game modes. But once again, he does play against Pofendera, whatever they're called, who are 19th in the league, while Las Palmas are, they're doing pretty well in comparison. So once again, a nice difference between table positions, and again a crazy L5 and L15. Sadly, again, it's a little bit higher than the normal trends. So he did play on the 11th and got a score of 100 last time, and therefore he was basically going for about a tenner. Well, by the end of the game week, or when people were building their teams, he was actually up at £13.80, so almost had himself a 30 to 40% rise there, so pretty decent rise last time, and he's only got an even higher L5. Now, he's not coming off the back of getting 100, but nonetheless, he's still got some very good scores, and we can see there was some decent hype last week. Another player right here, which is Andre Gomez. A few decent trends on this guy. First off, his L5 is only sitting at 56, which is a little bit low, but top 5 leagues can always work in your favour. L15's in at 45, which is decent. A few things I like. First off, plays against Brest. Brest are 5th bottom in the league, whereas Lille obviously are doing pretty well. And I've just given, obviously, PSG a pretty good game. The other things I quite like about this guy, very low supply. Sometimes that can be a bit of a worry because obviously it means that, all it takes is a week and, there's another 10% more cards on the market. Well, last time when he had a good game, he did go up here to £10.70, but then he went back down there to £8, but then rose up to £13 by the end of the week. So we've seen there's been some pretty good hype, especially with the supply to demand sort of ratio. So then we're going to kind of basically hope on the same sort of thing, maybe £8, and then picks up again. But again, we are going to sell him in the pre-hype because he is in rotation at the moment of being a sub to a main. But yeah, so plays against 4th bottom of the league, and he had some pretty decent hype last time. I'd like to gamble there hasn't been too much supply for that to not be able to potentially replicate. Another player I've got here, which is Fabian Schlitzer. Once again, following the theme of today. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 getting decisives. Very, very nice scores. Bringing him an L5 of 67 and an L15 of 51. Also goes and plays against Rosenberg, which I can show you right here. Our second to bottom of the league. Form at the moment is not impeccable to say the least, but there we go. And he's a striker. Obviously, we do like strikers or forwards because we know that forwards are a way bigger scarcity than defenders and midfielders when it comes to high L5s and low L15s. Good 2 player, and that is a Marion Bush. He's got himself only 3 scores in the last L5, but gives him an L5 of 84 and an L15 of 58. So again, quite a high L15, but an even higher L5. Well, the nice thing is they do play against Armenia, which, if we can show you, are 3rd to bottom of the league, whereas these guys are 3rd to top of the league, with literally double the amount of points as them. So yeah, a really nice favourable matchup. Worry about him is that his L15 is quite high. Another card, and that is Isaac Lidjberg. The reason we like him is because he's a forward. He has an L5 of 61, and he's got an L15 of 49. He also goes and plays again. I've done that again. FC Emmen. Now, don't get me wrong, Go Ahead Eagles are no angels. They're not amazing, but FC Emmen are bad at football, and they are, as a result, 3rd to bottom. So, forward, he's also young, so you might get a bit of under 23 hype around him. And yeah, so he's dropped himself that. He's going to replace a 80 with a 38, so that's given a pretty decent difference this week on last week. And once again, a forward. We always like a forward. But there's some actually interesting conditions to this guy, and that's that he plays midweek. Which means that I would need to sell him before the midweek game. Because if we look at his scores are 87, 41, 58, DMP and 90. The relevance of selling him before he plays against PSV is when he plays against PSV, whatever score he gets is going to get replaced with this. Well, last time he played against PSV, he was a sub and got 41. And obviously if he went and got a sub and 41, that's a 90 being replaced with a 41. Which would lower his current L5 from 69 to probably something even maybe sub 60. Bear in mind, like 3 of the scores would be sub 60 and they'd have to get carried by the 87. So it's quite an interesting one because again, the 69 right there for a 45 L15s, really, really nice ratio. The only problem is as soon as they get that PSV score, unless he's going to pull a blinder against PSV, it's just not going to be looking too promising for him. For probably the 3rd week in a row, we're now recommending Deportivo Alvarez. I mean, I say recommending, I'm looking at. Starting off with this guy, who has gone and got himself a L5 of 62 and an L15 of 51. A little bit too high, but... We got Tony Moyer of last week, who I did actually go and sell, but I'd happily buy him back if I could get him at a good price. Yeah, banged in a 77, which means his L5 is now 65, with an L15 of 47, which is really nice. And this paired up with a Lewis Roger is beautiful. Again, 197, 76, 77, 74. The form this guy is on is insane. An SO5 of... an L5 of 85 and an L15 of only 57. We can then go and see that these guys are playing against 8th in the league. Now, obviously, it's not bottom of the league, but obviously, with these guys on impeccable form, and these guys' form looking a little bit more ropey, is Lucas Holler. So, obviously, top 5 leagues, forward, perfect combo. And then we look at this, and we're looking at 72. Obviously, he didn't have a good last game. 69, 60, 66, and the 72 is replacing the 27. This now means that he has got a L5 of 59. Again, we would like it being 60, but his L15 is under 40. So that is a really, really good look. Another player, but kind of going against the grain of today's episode. But we've got ourselves Franco Tazanaiski. So, when I got myself a 60, which replaces the 35, this now goes and gives him a score of 56 and 45. So, it's kind of what we want for a forward. Now, it's quite interesting, actually, regarding the matchup, because if we look at this season, we'd say this is an amazing matchup. Top of the league, plays mid-table, not even half the points. But there are 4 games in the league. And if we look at last season, these guys had 21 points in 27 games, which is crazy because they now have half the amount of points they did last season in sick for the games, which is crazy. And obviously Racing Club went from being top of the league to, again, they're 4 games in, so you can't really critique them too much. But nonetheless, we are probably going to be looking at this guy because, I say, there aren't too many options this week. Again, I must have gone for about 60, 70 games now and still only on about 5 cards. So not really following the theme in terms of looking for low leagues, but again, here's a nice cheapo. And I'm going to have to call that a day because there are other games, but I have generally been going for about 5 hours. I've gone through every single one of these games, so all of these games. Saturday, I think Saturday itself just took an hour to go through all of these games, selecting every player with a score over 60, because that's kind of like what I use. And then, of course, we've gone and done Sunday. So I'll have to leave tomorrow's, or I guess today's games for tomorrow, because otherwise I'll be up to 3 in the morning or whatever. But so the list that we have come up, now we haven't gone and bought anyone yet, but we'll buy players between today and tomorrow's episode. We've got ourselves a few forwards, got a few from the Bundesliga. There's a few from the same team, because obviously when one performs well, normally a few do. A few there from the Deportes Alvarez. Suso, who again I want to sell before the PSV game. I might even take this guy out because he doesn't look as favourable for others. Some Bundesliga 2 players popping up here. Some Serie A players. A nice mix of everything. Major leagues, minor leagues, forwards. And other positions. But that is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Again, hopefully in today's episode I've kind of shown you guys how I've looked at some of the league positions on who people are playing against. But even saying that, we've gone and still selected a few other players just so we can track how well they do. In tomorrow's episode you'll see what I've gone and bought, how much I've paid for them. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.